What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Proving Grounds Pod, your one-stop shop for all things Proving Grounds. My name is Max. I'm joined by my constant co-host, Cubby, and today we are on a Wednesday talking with Academy jungler eXyu for Dignitas Academy. Welcome, eXyu. We're super excited to be talking with you today. Your team has been doing really well. I guess I should say your teams, because you also got to play in Lock-In.
Top four.
Yeah, just all around NA superstar here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's great to have you. I know that I think that where we're kind of going to start is where our paths might have crossed for the first time with you being a part of C9 Amateur. So before we get to some of the stuff that's going on this year, I know that you went into C9 AM coming out of collegiate. That was like, what went into the process of you kind of landing that opportunity, and like what was that experience for you like this past year?
So the whole C9 Amateur thing was like absolutely crazy. I basically was like a collegiate player. I was new to Challenger and like starting to develop, and I started playing like amateur a little bit in the summer of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID hit, and it was like, oh, like now school is like online and everything is kind of weird. So I actually tried like balancing school and league, but it was really, really hard. So I dropped out of school to like pursue league. I was literally at like low GM. I was like in a slump, and I was really, really tilted. And I was talking to my brother late at night, and he was just like, you have to choose one of these. You can't do like both. And so like 8 a.m. that next morning, I just dropped out.
Wow.
And then I left the house. I was like, I'm going to come back at night and see how it is,
Wow. All right. That's pretty wild. Wow. So you dropped out, took some time, and pretty much said, like, this is it. Like, I'm going for it.
Yeah, I dropped out. I told myself I have 3 weeks to like hit like top 25 was my goal at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if I don't do it, then I'm just going to independent study and go back to school in the spring. But I hit top 25. I started like networking a little bit with some pros. I would add pros after every game that I did well in.
Yeah.
If they were in my game, to try to like build good relations. And then I ended up duoing with Revenge and Diamond back then.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really supportive. I was kind of like asking them for advice. I was a little bit shy, but they were all really friendly. And then I made that Twitter post that was like, I'm looking for team. I dropped out. This is my story. And then it was so insane that day. Like, I tweeted it. I was so nervous that I wouldn't get any like visibility, since it was like a brand new Twitter account basically. But then like Basic retweeted it, Diamond retweeted it, all these big names, and like it gained so much traction in one day that like I literally had offers for a team by the end of the day. And I was like,
wow,
what just happened?
That's wild. I think the whole like going that, I mean, that's a big decision, right? Because I was never as good of a league player as you were, but there were times where I thought this might be something that I wanted to pursue, but dropping out of school was never an option for me. And so like the fact that you were just like, this is it, like what was your major beforehand? Were you declared?
So I was a computer science major at UC Berkeley.
Yeah. Wow.
But I kind of gave myself like, so basically when I was young, I skipped 2 grades. So I actually went to college at 16, and I was always like a little bit resentful about it, because like it's cool, but also
you miss out on high school friends.
You're just kind of different.
Yeah. Social. Yeah.
I was kind of lucky. It wasn't too bad, but it's also just like when you get to college, you can't drink or do any of that stuff because you're a kid. And then my brother was just telling me like, your advantage of skipping grades is like you have time, right? So you can drop out, mess around. Even worst case scenario, this doesn't go well, then you just go back and be normal, and it's fine.
It's a smart brother. In a way, yeah. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, this is like the most wholesome college dropout story I've ever heard. This is pretty incredible.
Maybe to you, but my parents were. Well, they were not very happy about it.
It's funny because this is actually pretty similar to what I did. I also dropped out of college to try to do league, and similar to Cubby, I also was not nearly as good as you. And my goal was just simply to like hit Challenger in general, not top 25. And I did not do that. I peaked Master, nowhere even close to Challenger. But yeah, I did a very similar thing. And then when that didn't really work for me, I just went into like the workforce. I was just doing like food service stuff.
So,
but I basically we've got two college dropouts in this call right now that are doing esports. I don't know what kind of message we're setting for children watching right now, but
I mean, if you watch eXyu's gameplay, the clear answer is just fucking send it. That's where we're at, right?
So.
Okay, so you drop out, you hit Challie, you make the post, it gets some traction. This is going into 2021. You said you had team offers. How long did it take for C9 to kind of pan out?
So C9 actually reached out the day of. I think it was like absolutely insane, but
wow.
Obviously like it wasn't off season yet, so they couldn't like flesh out the details, but it was like, hey, we're interested in you.
So you knew that early?
Yeah, so I knew,
wow,
really early
okay.
on that they were interested. And then come off season, like I actually just got a contract like the day of, and I was like, okay, like this is awesome. Now we go from here. So,
yeah, I'm on a tier 3 like team. Like this is perfect. Yeah.
Well, it was really crazy to me because it was like Cloud9 is an org that like, you know, growing up I really looked up to because I was like, this is like the top NA brand. Like,
yeah,
you know, you hear stories about how they develop players, and you're like really, really excited to be a new player and like that org. So it's pretty crazy.
So were you like the first person on the Cloud9 amateur team then?
I think so, yeah.
Did you help build the team at all from there?
No, I didn't really have any say. Yeah.
It's good to get your foot in the door. And hey, last year went pretty well for you guys. I know that spring was a bit of a struggle, but come summer, you guys were the second strongest team that we had in amateur going into Proving Grounds. And I know that you got team killed, which kind of sucks. But
yeah,
I like throughout that kind of year-long process, like I know a lot of work goes into that. Like, but what were some of the major takeaways that you figured out last year, whether that's like in the game or out of the game, when it came to like really committing to this full time?
Definitely like recognizing how real burnout is for a whole year of like playing League of Legends like 12 hours a day. It's actually really, really easy to burn yourself out. So this year I've been trying to take it a little bit slower. But being in LA, it's a little bit hard because like this is the first time where I'm like constantly surrounded by League, because back at home with the amateur, it's like you finish your scrims and you eat dinner with your family, and no one knows about League, so you talk about normal people stuff and like play a bit of solo queue, and then you talk to your friends and they don't really care about League, so it's cool. Like, but here it's like breakfast, talk about League, scrims, we talk about League, dinner, we talk about League, we get boba, we're still talking about League. Like, there's just no breaks. So I definitely have been using my off days like to just completely avoid League, because I don't want to be burnt out by like Proving Grounds and like the second split.
Yeah.
What do you do on those off days? Do you have like a cool off game or something that you play?
So I've only had 2 off days so far. The first one, we were having moving problems still, so it wasn't really an off day. And the second one, my girlfriend came to visit, so that was really nice. Like, we went out, got some food, and like spent the day together. That was really nice.
Nice. Play some Stardew Valley or something?
Yeah, that was our quarantine game. Like, when quarantine first started, we got Stardew and we'd play like 3 hours a night, every single night.
I thought Sam was just throwing like blind darts here.
Yeah.
He hit, man.
We're kindred spirits. My spouse and I play Animal Crossing, although they're much more advanced in it than I am. So I will just get like packages in like the Animal Crossing mail that just have like $1 million in them or something. And so I just have a benefactor in that game paying for all my stuff.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's really good though. I think acknowledging that burnout is real very early into the split is a really good thing. Especially considering like you did play in both of those tournaments like right off the bat, jumping into the lock-in environment and everything. What was that sort of like for you when you got the call that you were going to be moving up and stepping in?
I mean, that one was crazy. Basically, I just landed. I was waiting at the airport for like Toby to come pick us up, and I finally meet Toby for the first time, which was really nice. And we're in the car, we're driving back, and he's just like, like, oh, are you excited to play in LCS? And I was like, oh, you mean Academy, right? I was like, yeah, like, I'm excited for Academy. He's like, no, LCS. And I thought he was like joking the whole time. So I was like,
He just
yeah,
cracks it in the car?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that'd be fun, And then he's like, no, I'm serious. Like, the coaches will message you tomorrow morning. I was like, he just starts telling me everything. He's like, oh, you have to go to this house because you have to go be with like the LCS people and like get ready and everything. It was so crazy. Like, as soon as I landed in LA, everything just blew up and started.
Wow. Okay, that literally like as soon as you landed, like you were in the car.
As I landed.
Holy cow!
It's like 9 a.m. and I find out it was crazy.
That is pretty wild. Now I am proud because when you did end up hopping into LCS, I was like, all right, this guy's good, but he's especially good when he hops on Lee Sin or Graves, and you picked up a Lee Sin win, which is pretty cool. And I know that was like your first games in this like the top 2 system, like being a part of like one of those 2 teams. You won an LCS game. Now I know that like that's kind of like expanding on that feeling, but also like the process that went into that. What was it like kind of literally being thrown into the fire right off the bat? It's like, all right, you are scrimming with Blue, Neo, like, this is the squad. Like, how much like were you like, what was that like for you? Like when it came to like, what did you pick up? Like, how'd that feel? Like all that stuff.
So when we first started scrimming, the first day I was definitely nervous because everyone is like so experienced.
Yeah.
So everyone else comes into this like a veteran, like, oh, it's another day at the office and it's my first day at the office. So I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool. But everyone else is just like, oh yeah, we got scrims and whatever. I'm like freaking out. But we get into game, obviously like it's completely different. Like the game is, the way they think is like a lot more clear, I guess. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was just like a little all over the place, especially since it's been a while since I played my last competitive game with like the off season being so long.
Yeah.
But they were all super friendly and like really understanding. I think the first few games I was definitely running it a little bit in scrims and like they were still just trying to find like the positives and like definitely just like helping me work through it. And then like the few days before the match, we were scrimming and I felt like really comfortable and I was really excited to play. I honestly wasn't even nervous at that point because there was just too much going on to be nervous.
Yeah.
But then like the stage day came and it was like really, really nerve wracking. Like before the game started, I was like, holy shit, that's Santorin. And then I killed him and my hands were shaking when I was basing. I was like, nah, like how do I stop my hands from shaking?
Yeah.
So you gotta sit on him for a second.
Yeah.
Press B, you get 7 seconds of just all right.
We have like these player cams. But I don't think they like streamed the footage, but I went back and saw a little bit of it and like you could see after I killed I'm like wiping my hands. Like,
yeah. What can I do?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the sort of rush that I remember. Like I used to play in like esports Smash Bros events. Like we had a ton of those in Michigan. And there were definitely moments where you got the controller and you get the kill and you're just like, oh, drop this for a second. Write this out, get right back into it. Like, can we pause or something? Like, oh my god, that rush is so crazy. Yeah, I was really happy and just like proud watching you do that and like make that jump because I mean this is our first time talking, but we're good friends with Rafa and he's known you for a while and he'll always just like hype up you and some of his other friends as well, like Chan. Just like, yeah, let's go. He gets so passionate about it and it just like rubs off, so it was a really cool just like watch party moment, seeing you get the kills and the wins and everything at that stage. It was really fun.
So diving into that office, this is like your first time in an esports office. What are like some of like the fun things that you have? Like we got your background now, like that you're like in the dig compound. Like you got like any fun water machines in there? Any of the Croy in the fridge? Like what's some of your favorites? Yeah, some of the favorites you got.
One of them is like we have this really creepy mannequin that just is somewhere in the compound at all times.
You guys hide them?
Well, sometimes it moves, but like I don't know. So hopefully someone's moving it, and I don't know, man. But like sometimes it's here and sometimes it's not there. But like the first day I came, I went to get water, and it was near the water, and it was like really dark, and we have like motion activated lights. So I walked there, and like the lights light up, and there's just a mannequin like right in front of me. I was like, what the hell?
Day one.
Yeah.
They're trying to like make you shit your pants so that you don't do it on stage, right? You just do it in the office.
They're getting all the nerves out.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's
so
kinda funny.
is the office haunted, or is it just like the mannequin? Like, what's your read on this?
We have a mannequin, and then we have a really big Sonic plush that just is in a different position every single day. Like, you come to work, there's just
like
a Sonic
this.
plushie somewhere in some position, and it's just there, and it's huge. It's like a person-sized Sonic plushie. Like, it's really, really big. They went to like Dave & Buster, spent like thousands of dollars, got like a bunch of tickets, and that's what they ended up with. So it's just at the office now.
That's awesome. I'm a huge
Deeply haunted. Then.
I'm a huge Dave & Buster's
Deeply
fan as a traditional Midwesterner. No, but so was this like something that the team did in past years? They just like said, "Hey, we're just gonna go like play Dave & Buster's games for a shit ton of time and just get this giant like plushie or see what we come home with."
I'm not too sure about the history. I think they got it recently, and they just had a bunch of tickets at Dave & Buster's, and were like, "What can we do?" And the clerk, like the person at the counter, was like,
"You can get this."
Really shocked that they have so many. So they're like, they took them to a back room, and they're like, "Oh, we have this thing, but no one ever gets this many tickets."
They have a Dave & Buster's back room.
Yeah, it's the VIP room.
There's a secret auction at Dave & Buster's. This is great.
Password to speakeasy, like within the the arcade.
Oh my god!
Come behind the Pac-Man machine. We got the Sonic plushes.
That's awesome. So there's just this massive life-size Sonic that just continuously moves around the office and a creepy mannequin.
Yeah.
This sounds like the
name?
ideal work environment. I want to be in this
perfect.
office.
Keeps you on your toes, you know?
Does the mannequin have a name though? Did you name it?
We haven't named it. Do you want to name it?
No,
we need
that's
to
for
see
you
it.
guys.
Do you
That's
have
for
it
you
near you?
guys. That's for you
Every
guys.
time I see it, I'll think of you if you name it for me.
Oh no, that's
Oh.
It won't scare me as much. I'll just be like, "Oh, that's Sam," you know, it's okay. Or like whatever you choose to name it.
I think we have to name it Cubby, right?
Cubby. All right,
Yeah.
I think it's settled. Gotta be.
That's the office Cubby. You should.
Do I really look
Watching
that
over
bad?
you.
No.
Like I said, I've not seen the mannequin, so maybe I'm way
pretty
off.
funny.
Maybe it's really attractive, man.
Ooh,
I just won't
yeah.
tell you. I'll
Model
keep you
mannequin.
guessing, you know?
So it's like the Dave & Buster's back room. You don't know what you're gonna get. You just gotta go find out.
One day when you come down here, I'll show you, and you could be either really happy or really disappointed that it's named after.
I'm trying to make it out to LA at least once this year. So maybe I'll take a stop by some of the team offices here, and especially the Dig one. Now that apparently I have a mannequin that might be referenced after me.
We gotta run this by the Dig staff and see if they're okay with it. But
It might already have a name, honestly. I don't know.
oh yeah,
See,
that could be true.
This is where we have to bring up our earlier discussion before we went live about the Dignitas logo that you have behind you.
Oh, this
Is
one.
is it Diggy or Digi? This is the GIF versus GIF discussion
Yeah.
for the Dig logo.
I'm still curious. I've honestly been thinking about it this whole time since we went live because we talked about it before, and I don't actually know. So
I'm definitely a Diggy fan over Digi, because Digi sounds like
Digimon. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's also not Dignitas, so.
That's true.
That is true.
That's yeah.
But like it is like almost the word digit as well. So like you have that going for you. I don't know. There's some linguistics going on.
working
Here.
on
We
it.
need an expert.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So in the spirit of this wacky interview that we have going on right now, I think it's safe to say that we're trying but maybe failing to compete with your Twitter videos that have been coming out recently, which personally are my favorite video content that's been made of Academy so far.
The
No
post-game
offense to the
interviews-
Academy team.
I mean, the post-game interviews, let's be real. They've made our lives in terms of content creation way easier. Way easier. It's been huge. So, yeah.
They're so funny, man. Are you guys gonna put somebody else in the hot seat soon, or is it just gonna keep being you?
I think after every game, we're supposed to change people. I mean, I've only done it once, I think. I think we've done Juan, we've done JJ, and we've done like Dark Wings. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think
Right.
every
I was
week
just
is a different
thinking-
person.
You know, maybe it's just because you're the star of the show every time. No, I'm just
Wow, thank you.
So, I mean, like part of those interviews, right? I mean, the content's been really funny on Twitter, but also it's
yeah.
really apparent that you guys like have a lot of fun as a team. Like whether it is the pregame poses or like the postgame interviews, like what is the team environment like for you being a part of it, and what is like some of the values, or like in the long run, some of the things that you think will help like with your team culture kind of being the way that at least it looks like on camera?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us are like pretty comfortable around each other already. Definitely, like, it's still early. It's only been a few weeks since we've met each other, but we're already pretty comfortable. Obviously, we have a lot of fun together with like the content, just like messing around. I mean,
Looks like no fun at all.
We have to spend like pretty much our whole lives this year with each other, so it's really nice that like at least it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And yeah, but definitely like I think it's good that everyone is comfortable because we can be like honest with each other about scrim results and like about how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll help us in the long run, since if you bottle up emotions, it's like, I don't know, it's really bad for your team environment.
Mm. I think it also buys into the thing you were mentioning before about how like Dignitas is kind of an underdog right now, because you guys get the underdog bonus and you get like the friendship is magic thing. We're just building like a full anime arc at this point, and you guys are gonna fully power up by the end. Speaking of powering up, I'm actually really curious about something, because as of right now, Golden Guardians is the only Academy org that has made the delve into amateur and has played in a lot of those tournaments. I know that if you guys were going to do this, this wouldn't be like solely your decision, so like you don't have to go fully into it. But do you feel like that's something that you guys might explore? Because I mean, the Golden Guardians team definitely has been getting good reps out of it, and I'm curious.
Yeah, we talked about it before we even met up in person, because the first one was obviously like really early signups. So we talked about it, and we said like for the first one, at least we want to like, we'll probably just avoid it since we want to like get in the rhythm and have everything settled down.
Yeah.
And still like the priority is the Academy matches, right? So we want to make sure we have enough scrims beforehand. But going into the next ones, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm kind of impartial. I think the stage experience is really good, but you also end up with a really, really hectic schedule, right? Like GGS had that 1 week where they were doing walk-in, amateur, and Academy. And it's like 6 matches a week, and it's really insane. But if we do end up doing it, I think it'll give us more confidence on stage, but also like we'll just have less days to actually test stuff, because we'll always have to be prepping for a match. So
I had this idea that I couldn't do because I couldn't use the music, but I was gonna put like a globe up that only had like North America on it and just play like Daft Punk's Around the World, like when talking about Golden Guardians. So they were just doing the Around the World tour in NA, playing all 3 leagues at once. I know that we were talking about amateur earlier. Did you catch any of the amateur games or see the finals where Hunter Next 3-0'd GGA? Like, is that something that's surprising to you? I know that Hunter Next are primarily scrimming Academy teams.
Yeah. I saw a little bit. Honestly, I'm not that surprised. I think 100X is really, really strong as a team. Especially like early on, they have these like pretty core veterans like Fan and Insanity who like are definitely experienced, and like to them amateur is a breeze. So I'm not too surprised that they're like killing it like this. Oh,
Fnatic is also a player that you played against a lot of the last year. What are you sort of projecting for like him as his future, if you think that far ahead for him?
I mean, I think he's definitely like an Academy level player for sure. It's just whether or not there were like team openings for him, or whether or not like it meshed well. But as a player individually, he's definitely ready for Academy.
I know like we've kind of talked like in the past about jungle talent pool, like kind of hitting on that. What like as a jungler, like I have the feeling at least that like this role on the server is loaded compared to the others. Like, do you get that feeling as well? Like, I know that like it feels like there are a lot of good junglers like on the server. Is that something like you kind of agree with? Is that something that like kind of adds pressure? Or you feel like kind of fuels you to like make sure that you're always on top of your game? Like, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with people before. I kind of agree with that. I think jungle's definitely loaded. Like mid and jungle are 2 of the most loaded roles, I think, for NA talent. But I can't tell if it's like NA junglers are really good or if like NA laners are really bad at making the junglers look really good. Because like if
Could
it
be
was
true.
just me, I would be like, oh, I'm really good. But like, if everyone looks good, like on Tim's, like the Oracle Elixir, his like standouts, like half of them are junglers. So it's like, are we all good, or is everyone else just bad and making us look really good? Like, I can't really tell.
Fair question.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the Tim's list and everything. Do you guys, like, as a team, read those like often, like content about yourselves? Because we've talked to players in the past who kind of like hate read them, where they're like, oh, I'm gonna get revenge on this person for like not putting me higher or something.
I usually advise people to like not read or listen to anything, including our own content. As if I was competing, that's definitely where I'd be at. But yeah.
Honestly, I love the hate reading. Like, if someone doesn't hype me up or if someone talks trash, like, I love that. I read it and I'm like, next week, we'll see what happens, Like, I want them to shit talk me because I just want to prove them all wrong.
That fuels you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you happen to read the like spreadsheet that Tim's server put together where they like rated all the academy players?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
Is it something I should look at? Maybe I'll look at it right before our match tomorrow.
It was preseason.
Hate reading.
It was preseason.
In the spirit of hate reading, it might benefit you.
You were not 10th.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Was I 9th?
You were not 10th. I remember who was 10th,
so.
but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just curious. You don't have to go through it. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, like stuff like that, because like I said, we did make it in the preseason, and we had very small contribution to it. But yeah, it's really curious, because we also like didn't know a lot about how the landscape was going to look.
Also, it's early season.
With like the early season, there's a lot of new players coming in this year. Like some from amateur, of course, but also like Malice is coming into your role, who we haven't seen play competitive in like years. Still haven't, but I know they're playing this week.
Should be.
Yeah. Well, I saw a I don't know if you saw this, Cubby, but one of the C9 staff tweeted an image of the 5 C9 LCS players screaming against the 5
Actually,
academy players.
I just got the roster lock. It is confirmed. It's now public.
Okay, well,
that Malice,
there you go.
Yeah, Malice in.
Yeah, they tweeted it out beforehand, so I figured that was okay to talk about. Yeah, have you been keeping up with Malice at all? Because like, I'll be honest, I have not. He's a blank slate for me coming into this.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I watched him stream a little bit when he was in Korea, just to kind of gauge how he was as a player. And honestly, I didn't learn that much. He's like, from what I've heard, he's just like he's a very standard player. Like, he plays by the rules of the book. He loves power farming. He doesn't like taking like flip plays. So I think he's probably a solid player, but I'm really excited to play against him since C9 thought he was better. So
ooh,
I want to see if that's true.
Okay, I like that.
Hey, yeah.
So
that's really interesting.
I kind of moving more now like into the Academy League. You guys have been off to a good start this season. I believe you guys are 5-3, and have had a couple nice showings. I do think that it is early season, right? You guys are playing. When you guys engage, you definitely engage together in the early season, which I'll give you guys credit for. And not every team, I'd say the majority of teams cannot say that currently in Academy. Where do you feel like the team's strengths are at? Like, is it worse than like what you were playing in like even an amateur like this past summer with teams just like having more time with each other? Do you feel like teams are starting to level up like in practice? Like, are we starting to see some better stuff on stage? Yeah.
I definitely think we're a strong, scrappy team. I mean, we have a lot of players who are fresh from amateur, like me, Isaac, or Darkwings and Eclipse. Like, all of us are fresh from amateur.
Oh yeah.
And even like our veterans are like not extreme veterans. Like, Spawn is relatively new. It's his second year. I guess for JJ, he's like a veteran, but we definitely like to fight. And I think it's really easy to do that in early season, but hopefully like throughout the whole year, we'll be able to like clean up our gameplay a little bit, because it's still a little bit flippy right now.
I mean, it's not just you, like it is everyone, right? And so like I am kind of curious to see like who ends up cleaning things up, because I feel like the only team that's playing clean at the moment is CLG. And they were up on everyone by 2 games, which out of 8's a lot. So yeah, it's been interesting though, because it feels like some teams are lost, other teams like you, are making team plays together. And then yeah, that has been fun to see early season, because it feels like range creep is really strong right now because no one's pulling off engages together like they need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also just like the range champions are just kind of OP right now.
Corky's
like,
busted.
Just Corky, right?
Yeah.
Like Corky is so disgustingly broken. He's just like frustrating to play again.
Oh yeah.
I think actually maybe maybe my most hated champion right.
Do you watch
we're
VODs?
bringing in a new range champion.
That
for
is
this
true.
Next
Oh
week,
god.
So.
Yeah. Do you stay up to date on
contender.
like any other regions, eXyu?
Yeah. We actually, one of the things we do as like a team, since we all live in a house together, is like we watch LPL at night together or
Okay.
LCK.
Did you see the game where Xiaohu with Syndra, they dove Corky on 3 and 6, and the Corky still won the game?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, was that also the game where he like? Oh no.
He was on
But
Syndra.
yeah.
It was Syndra. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was. Oh god. I wanted to just jump. I actually just wanted to jump off of like a bridge after that one. You could not play into Corky like in a better manner. Like they dove the Corky twice, and then it's like nope, still deuce.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how we felt against TL, right? It's like we stacked 3 dragons, and then every dragon after that is just like, oh, he got packaged. I guess it's fine, man. It's whatever.
Yeah.
That was a good
wait
series.
2 weeks. I think of competitive, or maybe it's 1 week. I think you will be playing on nerfed Corky on week 4, right? That's how
Did Corky get nerfed on 12.3?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
be
nerfed
next
on
one.
live. His package spawns at 10 minutes first one,
Huge.
and then 5 minutes after, which is
Huge.
it's going to be down for some Drakes now, which is a very, very big deal. They didn't nerf the rockets, but the package is definitely the most frustrating part. So
should still make the package slow less or not be unstoppable, but that's just me. I don't know why it gets both.
The Unstoppable's fun. I as someone who's played a bit of Corky, the Unstoppable is just a nice part of it. I would definitely advocate for nerfing the
Rumble is
effective
molding. That's
on the
where
ground.
I'm going with this. Pretty
Definitely,
much. Yeah.
definitely. It is ranged, but that's not even a good excuse. I mentioned very briefly or alluded to Zeri. Is this champion good enough to play in the jungle?
Oh.
Tell me.
I'm not too sure. Honestly, I haven't
tested.
played it in the jungle yet, but I don't know if I should leak that. Maybe I should just say I have. So Immortals, if Immortals is listening, we're pulling out Zeri jungle tomorrow, first pick. So just so you guys know,
this is like
it's a quad flex.
A few layers of mind games.
Yeah, just you wait. If we actually pull it out, I'll shout you out after.
Ooh, okay.
That means you got to win game 2. Game 1 doesn't matter.
Oh, true. You're right. So I'll pull it out game 2.
Yeah.
I should just. Yeah.
I mean the best of 2s in Academy are actually just a metaphor for LCS. Spring split doesn't matter. All about summer, right? Get the interview after second game.
Summer split.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Oh man. Yeah, I've been seeing way too many Zeri clips. I mean, I'm sure you saw the Yawn one.
Yeah, that one was...
That one's got like 1 million views or something.
That was the stupidest clip I think I've ever seen in this game since Aphelios just one-shot 5 people with his ult. I think I quote retweeted it with that too. Oh my god.
The craziest thing to me is that he lost that game somehow.
I mean, because the champ does a lot of dancing, but even in that clip, he was doing some crazy stuff, but he wasn't doing that much damage. He was his click to damage ratio was not very good.
It's new patch is definitely to be interesting to see. Also, I am curious. I have a feeling this week, actually, you do not have to comment on the next statement. I have a feeling that we are going to see a Janna with Smite at some point in between LCS and Academy. I think that we will see that this week in play, which will be...
Blink twice if your top laner is dropping ego.
This will be interesting. Is it dropping ego or is it having Omega ego? This is the question. But I think that...
I am so good that I can win on Janna. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. We'll go both ends of the spectrum.
I don't even need hands to win. That's where we're going.
I mean, it's kind of like saying the enemy top isn't good enough to carry with infinite resources, right? Like you're giving him everything he wants, and he still can't carry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the good spin to get top laners to play this. I wonder if it'll work on Sniper. Maybe. I mean, his Riven didn't work out. You know, he only got to play the game for like 2 minutes, so maybe it's time for Janna for him.
Will be interesting. Actually, I know that like you haven't had a ton of time yet in Academy, but is there any like team or player that you've come across that you feel like is like really underrated right now, like by the community, like someone or a team that's like going to really start stepping it up and scaling as we get deeper into this season?
I think I don't know too much about other teams, to be honest. I don't like worry too much about that, but I definitely think our bot lane is underrated.
Okay.
I think they don't get enough like attention, and
like
I think
that.
They're one of the best bot lanes in Academy, if not the best. So
Spawn's been playing really well this early season. What was it? The game you guys were, I think, Red Side, and Spawn had Jinx and Eclipse was Gragas, and the 3 of them, someone else was in that, like cleaned up a dragon fight, and like you guys came, like won the game after that. I think might have been against TSM.
We haven't played TSM yet.
Or no,
we played TSM this week. So
yep, you guys played TSM this week.
But maybe that's a foreshadowing. You know, we kill TSM at Dragon and we win the game.
I will league P this game, but Spawn's had some nice moments. Week 1 Ezreal as well was, I think he was a little bit ahead of the curve on that pick compared to everyone else.
He would have got a Penta, but our top laner decided to take it for fun.
I mean, Boris has to assert dominance some way, you know?
True.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, I fully agree though. I definitely agree that Spawn's been looking really, really good, and I think JJ's really stepped in as well. I've fully acknowledged that, like, since he took like a different role when the team was playing with Will last split as well, like that really to me looked like it turned him into a more confident and a bigger presence player. Do you feel like he is like the biggest presence for you guys on the Rift in terms of like communication and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, most teams usually it's like the jungle and support who talk the most, and I think our team is no different. It's mostly me and Juan talking, but yeah, he's definitely a really good leader in game and out of game. That's why we call him Mama Juan.
Nice. I like that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you're gonna have to pick that one up on the broadcast, Cubby. You're gonna have to take that there.
No, I'll leave that for the squad. You know, feel like
Rafa will do it. I'll get him on this.
Yeah, Mark will do that. Game I was thinking about eXyu was your first game against C9. You guys were blue. That's where I messed up. You were on the Poppy. It was the it was the Poppy Gragas with Jinx.
That Poppy game was very interesting.
Yeah, Copy did some damage in the early game, but you know, you guys brought it back.
Yeah, it's I like this team a lot because they have like they really respect if a player is confident. So on like when we were in draft, I was like, Poppy is good here. We didn't play any Poppy at all. It's like I think Poppy's good here. I hadn't touched Poppy in solo queue, but I thought it was good here, so I played it, and like definitely the pick was scaling. Like the first gank, I remember I eat him out of like a hook, and then I eat him out of the Jinx W, and it was just like it was constantly like, oh shit, I'm like eating him out of kills, you know? But yeah, it's definitely a scaling pick.
It was good. I mean, they were showing Akali at the point and Xin, and like you had a Gragas Poppy plus Jinx is that has been what pretty much Gen G has been exclusively running for Ruler. So I guess you guys just have Ruler. This is sick.
NA Ruler.
Yeah, Spawn is NA Ruler. Hey, he carried that game. You guys brought it back really well.
The only difference is we have inches instead of centimeters. But
Cubby's not amused. I thought it was good.
You know what, Sam? I'll get that was a good one. Well played. Well played.
I think he probably means like royalty. I think that's probably what his name is more implying than the unit of measurement. But you know what? We'll take
when you have to explain the joke, usually gets worse.
Okay, that wasn't me explain.
It's okay.
You know, I'll just stop talking.
I liked it. You know what? Keep it up. I like that one, Sam.
Oh, good. I'll throw in another joke later in the show as well. Oh man. So we, like Cubby said, we've been watching you since from C9 Amateur. You're on the LCS third team org. We've got a new one in as well. Immortals just partnered with AoE. We still have Evil Geniuses Prodigies and 100 Thieves Next. We already talked about. And we actually, I almost forgot, Dignitas, because they announced it a little bit later. You guys have a third team with Radiance. Have you interacted with that team at all?
So it's actually a funny story. So they like got invited to like our main server and everything, and we did like our introductions or whatever. And I think 2 days ago, I got a message from Bluster. I'm just gonna expose him because whatever. But like he sent me this message, right? It's really wholesome. It's just like, hey, like, you know, you might know me from solo queue, blah blah blah. Like I like am new to the scene and I want to like talk to you more and like learn from you or like work together, whatever, right? It was really, really wholesome. And I responded, I was like, yeah, that's awesome, let's do it. Like we can work together. But it was really funny because Isaac, like Darkwings is sitting next to me, and Crimson literally took his message and copy and pasted it and sent it to Darkwings. And we're like sitting right next to each other. And like the first line of the message is exactly the same. And then later on that day, we found out like so Deus is in their like the amateur group chat also.
Yeah.
And they sent a screenshot and it's just like, it's Bluster. Or it's Crimson asking like, what do I say? And Bluster sends what he sent. And then Crimson just says, okay. And then copies it and sends it to Darkwings.
Good start. Oh, I like that. That's good. You know what? There's some young Zoomers. They're figuring things out. I think that the two of those players combined are the age of 31, which really freaks me out because they're too good at this game to be that young. So what I'm hearing is that if eXyu picks any Kindred, we know where the inspiration was from.
Ooh, or Rek'Sai.
It will not be in this meta, probably.
I actually don't know too much about his champ pool. I think he was like a really good Kayn player, right, in solo queue?
Yeah, it's Kayn Kindred.
Maybe if I pull out the Kayn, you'll know where it comes from.
Okay, yeah.
We do have some good Kayns in amateur. I know Perry like had a stupid game on Blue Kayn.
I think I saw that. He had, like,
you see the clip? Yep.
Yeah.
On Raptors Wall? Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, that was a game where he transformed after 20 minutes, by the way. He just didn't need to. He was just perma clearing and taking all the enemy camps. He just didn't fight until he needed to. It was pretty amazing.
I mean, I don't know if transforming at 20 minutes is pretty amazing, but that clip was like he just one-shot 3 people on the team. It was filthy.
Yeah. That was a fun game. I was really concerned because he was farming a while, and I was like, no, he's got this. He was up like 3 levels or something as base Kayn. Just like, how did he even do this? But yeah, definitely a lot of good Kayn players. I really liked Bluster's Rek'Sai last year too, because honestly, like a lot of people weren't really playing Rek'Sai very well because she wasn't really in the meta. But the people who were building her like to survive early. So you see like the Gore Drinker Sterix. And then he comes in, he goes for the full lethality, like Prowler's Claw. And I was like, yeah, this is what this champion needs. Because he still fell behind a little bit early game, but he just one-shot people later. And it was awesome. So, because he was on the Evil Geniuses Prodigies roster last split, subbing in for Tomio after he got moved up. So. Yeah, that roster has been really cool. I'm glad to hear you guys are interacting as well. What I was going to bring up is with all of these players like getting positions on these LCS affiliated rosters, as someone who was on last year for that sort of thing, what was that experience like for you, and do you have like any advice for these guys that are coming into this?
So my experience was like not really what I thought it'd be. Honestly, I think I really thought it was like, oh, you're on the third team, like you're still like involved in the org as a whole. But on C9, it wasn't really like that, to be honest. It was just like, you guys are on your own, but you're under our brand and you have access to our scrims. Like we could watch their scrims, but that was about all the interaction we got with anything above like our own team. I think on my time on C9, I had like one conversation with Vhagar, and that was about it. So yeah, I think with the Dignitas team, that's why like I was really happy to see Bluster reach out, because I definitely wanted to be more like I want them to feel more involved in like everything that's going on, because I feel like that's where they can learn the most. So yeah, I guess my advice would just be like reach out with whatever questions you have, like whatever you want to talk about. Like we're here for you.
That's so wholesome. No, I know that like a lot of third teams just function differently. And yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity for you to kind of, if you felt like you didn't have the experience that you wanted or the exposure that you needed to have, then it's a good opportunity for you to share that now, kind of being on the other side. That's always good to hear / see. Actually, are you originally like from the LA area? Like, is this your first time like kind of being out? No.
So I'm from like Northern California, like the Bay Area.
Okay.
I grew up in a small town near Oakland.
Oh yeah.
So I've been to LA like multiple times in my life, but I've never like stayed here for an extended period.
Okay. What are some of the favorite things you've like been able to get out and do so far while you've been there?
Well, honestly, we haven't really gone out that much. Like
I know you like only had like 2 free days. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the best things. There's this one hand roll place that me and my girlfriend went to when we first visited LA called Kazunori that we got to come back to the other day, and it was just as good as it was the first time. So
good sign.
That's definitely one of the highlights of being here. We haven't been to like, yeah, honestly, besides food, we haven't really been anywhere in LA to like visit or explore, but the food here is really good, so that's a plus.
I'm surprised, like coming, I spent my last semester of school out in San Fran, so I'm surprised coming from that area. I thought they had really good food there. You know, you like the LA food.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Bay Area food a lot too, but I guess the LA food is like a little bit fancier, which is like cool to have on occasion, but maybe in the long term it's not as like great, I guess.
Yeah.
The one time that I went to LA, we were on flipped schedule, so the only thing that was open was Umami Burger. So I had a lot of Umami Burger. That was really good. We also went to. It's good, yeah. I think it's like a chain, I believe, but it's pretty close to the like Riot Studio. I don't know how far away you guys are with the Dignitas spot, but there is one pretty close there. So we went there a lot. We got so much food that I put it into like I had some left over, so I put it in the fridge, and then my fridge was hooked up wrong. It was actually a freezer unintentionally. So all of my cheese curds froze, and I didn't have a microwave.
Yeah, cheese curds in LA?
Yeah.
You really are a Midwesterner.
Yeah.
Needed a taste of home.
I did. It's true.
No way they were as good as what you can get in Wisconsin.
They weren't as good as Culver's. Yeah, I can tell you that much. Culver's is too good.
Now we're speaking a different language for eXyu. It's like,
yeah,
what is Culver's?
Cheese curds are just like cheese balls, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's like the first thing. And then Culver's,
it's like mozzarella sticks, but just in like spheres.
Spherical form.
Yeah. It's bite size. It's better.
Is it?
It's more breading too, you know?
This is the Midwest shit that we put in our bodies, and you know, probably why I've got issues.
We got a bulk up for winter, Cubby. It's
That's
13
true.
inches outside right now.
I was actually going to ask before we got on the show how many inches you got in Michigan, as it is a bit of a snowstorm.
It is still going. The last that CJ checked, it was 13 inches.
It's continuing tomorrow. But I know that tomorrow and over the next couple days, you've got some games this weekend, as you are going toe to toe with TSM is one of the squads that you guys are taking on, and then the other one is IMTA tomorrow. As I know, Chad was in the chat earlier. You like have like I don't know, like without sharing too much, like do you guys feel all right going into this weekend and some like as we get more academy matches underway?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us are definitely confident going into our matches. Yeah, I think there's not too much else besides that. I think we're just excited to see what happens. I
am too. I think we might see some weird strats with Zeri coming in, and then also I think this is going to be the first region or first competitive play that's seeing Zeri. If we see Zeri tomorrow, I assume we will.
I think it's probably going to be banned. That's my guess.
I have to first pick it, man. How can it be banned? I got to show them the Zeri jungle.
You got to quad flex.
That's what I'm saying. we called the shot on this show, and then the corner pocket is tomorrow. First pick it. It'll be great. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be banned. The champion looks really good, but we'll have to find out. Yeah, I'm really excited to see those matchups tomorrow. Like you said, it's we have you're playing, it's Hyper and Chad, aka TSM and the Immortals, two other pretty new junglers to the academy space as well. Are you feeling like you guys are all like? Does it feel like an Ash and Gary situation where you guys are like friendly rivals, or is it more like you guys are like all on the same team coming up at the same time?
If I had to choose one of those, definitely the Ash and Gary. But honestly, it's kind of neither. Like, I think we all kind of grew up together, which is really cool. Like, we all came up through the ranks together. But honestly, there's not, at least on my end, there's not that much interaction between me and them. I think me and Chad have had some conversations, but with Hyper, I don't think I've even ever talked to him. But I've always seen him like on different teams in the same area as me, so pretty cool.
Because you guys were playing collegiate at the same time, correct? Or did you guys pass each other with that?
I'm not sure. I mean, even if we were playing collegiate, like our collegiate team wasn't exactly like making it to nationals, so I probably would have never actually seen him.
I suppose.
I know that we're
actually. Oh, so go ahead, Cubby.
No, I got you.
Okay, I remembering now because you would have talked to Chad at Scouting Grounds, right? That's when you would have been interacting with him. I guess this is a good time to break into that. How, whatever you would like to tell us about that. I'm actually really curious about just your experience with how Scouting Grounds 2021 went for you as sort of the 21st player for it.
I mean, it was just a roller coaster for sure. I remember the last day of the season, I looked and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to make it. Because I kind of looked at this list that someone else had compiled.
Yeah, Pukar's spreadsheet.
On that side, it said I had made it. So I was like, oh, I'm in. And then I found out that there was Uncle Jamal, or Silly Shots was like above me. And I found that out later. And I was like, okay, well, actually, no, there was someone else, I think, above me in LP. But then they either rejected it or got, like, they weren't allowed to compete or something.
Right.
Because I messaged Whoopley when they first sent out invitations and they're like, oh, you didn't get in, you're the first on the wait list. And then he messaged me 2 days later and he's like, oh, actually, that person rejected it, so you're going to Scouting Grounds. And he set me up with everything, filled out the forms. That was really cool. And then 2 nights before Scouting Grounds at like 10 o'clock, I get a message from Whoopley. It's like, hey, can we talk tomorrow? I swear to God, those messages never go well. So I was like, oh, shit. So I started messaging all my friends who were also in Scouting Grounds, like Breezy and Wixie and all of them. And I was like, hey, did you guys get this message? And they're like, nope, never heard anything. I was like, oh my God, it's doomed. So then the next day, like 12 o'clock, I get this call and he puts me in a call with like another rioter. And he just like tried to be as nice as possible. But there's not much to say. It was just like, hey,
that sucks.
You messed up. This is the tweet. We're going to send it out. We're sorry. You can't like participate. Yeah. It definitely sucked at first. I was pretty bummed out, but I think the experience ended up being really cool. I think I'm the first player to get access to 2 different Scouting Grounds teams at once. I actually got to sit in with like Ocean and Cloud, which was really cool. Yeah, so I got to learn a lot from like the C9 coaches, or the Cloud coaches, which was like Tails and Gunasso. And then for Ocean, I got to learn a lot from like the other spawn, like the TL spawn, and then yeah. So I thought, honestly, even though I didn't get to show off or like play, it was honestly a really good experience. So I was really happy.
That's good to hear. I remember the tweets going live.
You took it on the chin pretty well. That's really all there is to say. Because, that's a really shitty situation. But, fortunately, it worked out pretty well for you, and you guys are off to a hot start this season, yourself included. I guess kind of like with that, and I know that we're starting to get to the end of the hour, but what are your goals like for this year, whether that's you as a player or as a team moving forward? Can be spring, can be end of 2022. What do you want to have accomplished, or like what are you setting out to do this year?
I think a personal goal for me is just to make sure that I'm not like a one-dimensional player. This kind of goes to the hate reading thing, but there was one analyst on Twitter who called me a bonehead And I won't lie, it stuck with me forever. And I swear, if I make it to LCS, if I make it to Worlds, I'm gonna remember this and call him out again. Because he called me a bonehead, and I was really triggered that day. I was like, this guy just called me a bonehead, man. And so
was it based on your spring play or your summer play?
I don't remember. I just remember this guy called me a bonehead, and I was like, what the? Like, I never even heard someone call another person a bonehead. And I don't even know if it's like it's insulting, but like I don't even know how insulting. But I'm gonna keep it as motivation. So I just want to make sure that people like see that I'm more than just like a psychopath fight all the time player. Like I want to do some big brain shit and yeah, really surprise people.
We've learned that you're definitely fueled by spite, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think hate is the strongest emotion. So like if you can channel that energy and use it positively, like it can take you really far.
eXyu watched the Last Dance and was like, yes.
I love those types of like documentaries. I did watch The Last Dance. Yeah.
They're great. Have you been seeing like the Tom Brady episodes? Those are tougher to get access to, but if you have any way to get access to those, they're The Man in the Building or whatever. I think it's called. They're good. Kind of similar vibes, but yeah, nothing will beat The Last Dance, man. I had to explain to the other Academy casters like the Dennis Rodman needing a vacation to go to Vegas for 48 hours. Like that section. That's like, this is the most ridiculous shit that like can happen on a team. And he's like, I just need to get out.
I mean, honestly, like sometimes if you're surrounded by their teammates like 24/7, you just need to go relax and do your own thing.
The funniest part about it is the fact that like he said, I need a vacation, and Phil Jackson was like, yes. Like this guy does need a vacation. Like that was the best part about like that moment of the documentary. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. As we're rounding things up, this is the part where I usually ask the most important question, but you already tweeted the answer to it like a few weeks ago, which is what is the meaning behind your name? You can say it. You can say it out loud if you want. I know you did already tweet it though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the tweet part, right? It's obviously not ex-Yugoslavia. It's actually just how you say my last name, like the letters X and U. So yeah.
Yeah, that was so funny. By the way, who, if you don't mind me asking, made that mistake that it was ex-Yugoslavia?
I made a Twitter post, and then there were just like 2 comments on it. Like there were 2 this time. So I was like I have to see what this
is. Growing. We better stop it now.
People. And they're both like, "Oh my god! Like, do you really like Yugoslavia or like something?" Like they were asking me about this. I have no idea because like I don't know. I'm like born and raised in America. I haven't really like looked into that conflict, but yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
When I saw that like tweet, I was like, what in the hell did people say? So it's like I have never ever had that thought. I was like, oh yeah, it's just eXyu. It's like ex-Yugoslavia. What?
Actually, I've looked my name up on Twitter before, and that's like the majority of the things is about that conflict. I was like,
oh wow.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I did not know that. Well, I guess I'm gonna hit the history books after that.
Yeah, for real. Did you have you had any other gamer tags before eXyu?
I've had some that were like
the Mimi,
very very childish, you know. Like one of mine, like my original league name was like Bobby McPhil. Like way back when I first made an account.
I like that. Nice. That's a good one.
Did you play Phil?
Did I play Phil? I mean, back then there was no like roll calling, so I think I was like a Phil player. You know, you just get what you get.
Did you watch the Bobby Flay show? The cooking fan?
I have no idea why. I have no idea.
This is like Bobby McPhil.
Yeah.
I actually oh god, those were the old days of the ladder, man. You just queued up and pray that you were first pick.
You were first pick,
yeah.
Jesus. I was better back then because I actually was a Phil player.
Yeah, I mean, I think people like honestly that system's not bad. I think people learned the game more if they have to play every role.
I liked it. Like I always had a couple champs I could play, and as much as I just despise playing some roles back then when I was really bad, I had some good memories playing as well. Because like you just like randomly like run into like games where you're like, it was a lot easier to be like, hey, my mid laner's been inting for the last 8 games. I'm just gonna say I'm playing mid. Like I'm just tired of like running into this problem.
Yeah.
I think the only problem was that that system was fine, but like the rune pages at the time were awful because you had to like build them, and if you were actually a fill player, you had to have like one for every single champion that you played. That was terrible.
They were so expensive back then too.
Yeah,
like, each of the runes were so expensive too. As a casual player, like
that was tough. But other than that, I definitely agree with you. Like if they put that back with like the modern system, I'm sure it'd be actually like completely fine. But like I remember having like a page that was like, this is like kind of good on every 80 carry. If I get this roll, like it'll kind of be all right.
You also like had to like run specific pages like for champions. So
yeah,
I remember that specifically on Gnar, you had to run like 20% attack speed to be able to weave an auto in between like R'ing someone into a wall and then like being able to like auto Q or auto W. You had to have like 20% attack speed to be able to pull that off. It was filthy.
Crazy you remember that.
That's because like you had to like actually be like, okay, if I'm gonna queue up, like I want to play Gnar, I gotta go change one of my pages to like match whatever this pro's running, right? Anyway, that was the fun BS that we dealt with way back in the day. And the 1% crit
Things
rune.
are better now.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Oh man, the crit rune. Well, on that note, yeah, we're about wrapped here, eXyu. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you, meeting you for the first time, and watching you play on Dignitas this year. It's been incredible so far. I'm a big fan, and I know you got a lot of them out there as well. Is there anything you'd like to say to those people right now?
I mean, honestly, just I'm really grateful for everyone who's been supportive on like Twitter through all the random stuff I've gone through with like scouting grounds. People were really supportive, and I was really grateful to see all the messages.
Ex-Yugoslavia.
Yeah, of course that. And then with Locket especially, I think there were a lot of like people who I've been in the scene with for a while who are just being really, really supportive. Even people I've like never been on a team with, but I've only played against, they were like really supportive of my debut. So really thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's been really fun watching you play in this early season, and you guys are off to a good start, 5-3. Looking forward to seeing you play the next couple days. But we gotta let you go. Any other thank yous or shout outs you'd like to give? Any sponsors you have to mention on the dig side?
I think sponsors were good, but I mean, I could always shout out my girlfriend for being super supportive, and she's actually on Dignitas social media now, so like,
wow,
it's pretty cool because like we're working in the same org, and like we're both pursuing a dream that's kind of like almost unbelievable. So yeah, it's really cool.
Awesome.
Good for you too.
Oh.
That's really good to hear.
No.
Yeah.
And on a wholesome note.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely check out eXyu. He's going to be playing in Academy for the next 2 days on the Academy channel. You guys' Twitter, right?
Longer than that.
Here.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh, yeah.
And a few more.
And
a few more days.
The next 2 days in the immediate future. And yeah, you can check us out at Proving Grounds Pod on all of our audio platforms and YouTube and all of that. We got Twitter at pgroundspod. You can check us out on all the updates and everything. And hopefully we will have another Raising an A episode very soon, another Proving Grounds Pod episode. We are looking to do another Mobalytics prospects list with Tim very soon.
Yes.
So hopefully that will be out and we can do a Proving Grounds Pod episode shortly. Or a Raising an A episode with Rafa. Yeah, I got that right. But anyway,
figure it out.
Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, we'll see y'all next time on Proving Grounds Pod. Have a good night.